Well, wonderful. Looks like I'm live, and I'm live again on Twitter and or X and YouTube. What a day. I mean, it's been an interesting day for sure. I figured I might as well just go live and talk a little bit about what's going on. And I've been trading every morning. This morning I was multitasking with a lot of different stuff. Yes, I'm wearing the same shirt I wore yesterday because honestly I work shirtless because it's kind of hot. And I only throw one on when I have to go live. But we're going to look at some charts. We're going to look at a little everything. There's some cool news. I noticed Charles has been much more cheerful lately. I think everything. Are we going to start seeing a recovery? Cardano's price is pumping. Bitcoin's price is obviously pumping. The second all-time high in 24 hours. That's a pretty big deal. And yeah, I mean, it's interesting. This is an interesting time. I'm still not really sold on like we're going to the moon or anything just yet. We're getting closer, maybe, but it definitely looks like things are going to start getting more interesting. So yeah, I really don't know 100%, but and if you follow me on X, generally I don't. I post here and there, but generally I just repost a lot of things that I find valuable. One of which is this leading report breaking: U.S. inflation index drops to 1.66%, and then China. They go up and down all the time, but it's obvious that this is a part of what's going on with the pump. China allows ownership of Bitcoin and crypto again. They go back and forth every cycle. I feel like they shut it down and then they turn it on. They shut it down and turn it on. But there may very well be a pattern associated with China's willingness to adopt and utilize crypto, because it seems like they do this when things start really heating up, when things start really tearing. And if I'm going to be kind of tinfoil hat, if we know how China basically controls the mining market, what do they know that we don't? Where they're like, yeah, it's okay. Go ahead and get yourself some Bitcoin and crypto now, because I think that if there's anybody with their finger on the pulse, on chain and otherwise, of what's happening with Bitcoin and in the crypto world overall, I do believe it's China, and I think that they don't want their citizens playing any part in bear markets. And I would be willing to bet that when this market starts to slow down, whenever it is, whether it's the end of this year or early next year or whenever, China will probably ban it again, forcing everyone to sell. And in a way, it could be good. So there might be an indicator to this as it relates to China. But as of right now, they've opened the floodgates. And so they're saying, go ahead and dive in. Admit it, at least one time in your life, you seriously tried to move an object using the force. And of course I have. You all have. Don't lie. Every one of you has. I said I just did today, and it worked because we got a new all-time high. So this I find very interesting. Breaking crypto taxes. The U.S. Treasury has removed crypto broker reporting rules, including Form 1099-DA. It was designed to require crypto brokers, including DeFi platforms, to report users' digital asset transactions to the IRS for tax compliance. Now, what I also find interesting is the inflation rate is low. Trump recently just put out something basically saying that interest rates should be, 3 points lower than they are right now. And I'm pretty sure, and I nothing's really been confirmed to my knowledge about Jerome Powell and him like resigning or anything. But it seems like that rumor is definitely picking up some strength, and I haven't really touched on it much today. But if I'm going to hazard a guess, I think Trump wants this guy to replace him, and I think that their goal is to replace Powell, because it's obvious Powell's playing politics, man. This is not like he is doing the complete polar opposite with Trump in office that he did when Biden was in office. And everything he's doing is screwing everyone. And Trump knows it, and most people know it. I think even a lot of people on the left know it. They just don't want to admit it because nobody wants to give any wins to Trump for anything. Like, it's like, never mind the economy, never mind inflation dropping, gas coming down, the prices of everything, and never mind all the stuff that really affects people. I feel like so many of them are just they have this TDS so ingrained that they're, it's like they're it's just the most nonsensical stuff I've seen, and I see it every day. And I feel like rather than them say, you know what, maybe he's not that bad, they just look for other shit to complain about. And it's like, while they're feeding their faces with cheaper everything, and while they're like, it's crazy to me. But then when they have somebody in office that they're supposed to like because the media tells them to like them, they do like them blindly, like absolutely 100%. And it doesn't matter if the world is burning down around them. They're cheering it on. They're just happy little lemmings. And it's like, it really does blow my mind. Now, I'm not really 100% happy with everything Trump's been doing. Don't get it twisted. I'm very much, I feel, and I'm not trying to really compare myself to Joe Rogan, but I feel like I'm very much in line with Rogan. And I think my wife is as well. My wife is far more liberal than I am. And even she has really opened her eyes to a lot of reality in the last several years, where she's just like, she sees things for what it is. She doesn't really buy into the tribalism of it all. She doesn't really give a shit. She's much bigger on like energy and like, what's the world feel like? What's happening right now? What are people reacting to? And she's much more about that. So, I noticed this, Cardano launches Reeve. Cardano just dropped Reeve, an open source tool bringing corporate finance and audit trails on chain. This is a big deal. It links with existing ERP systems, turning every journal entry into verifiable, immutable blockchain data. ADA gears for a big comeback. And I noticed that Charles actually congratulated Cardano Foundation yesterday for their role in this, and I was shocked to see it. I was just like, I was absolutely shocked to see it. And I think it's kind of funny, and I know I'm just totally drawing invisible lines here, but I do think it's funny that Charles suddenly starts getting nicer and more appreciative of the different people and what they do in the community. And then all of a sudden we get an all-time high that day. We get another all-time high today. He's mad at everybody for everything they're doing. Maybe it's bear market. But when he gets happy and he's like, yo, congratulations, good job you, and good job you. And he's virtually shaking hands with everybody. Maybe that just means an all-time high is coming. So, I'll take it, whatever. I just like to see Charles as a happy dude. There's really no reason for him not to be, quite frankly, none whatsoever. I don't care what trolls are out there trolling him. Like, the man has literally no reason to be miserable or upset or unhappy with anything or anyone, quite frankly. ADA's not pumping. It's moved up quite a bit, and we're going to cover that here in a minute. It doesn't look like it, but it is. Breaking: South Korea is driving a surge in Cardano trading activity. The ADA KRW pair and local DEX volume has pushed Korea into the global top 5 for ADA trading. Strong demand out of South Korea is building momentum. That's a big deal. And I want to share this as well, because, and this is not crypto related, but you're going to have to give me a damn minute because it means a lot. This is Ben Askren. For those of you that don't know, Ben Askren was a collegiate wrestler, top wrestler. He fought in the UFC a few times. He's the guy that fought Jorge Masvidal, and Masvidal came right out of the gate with a flying knee that caught Ben and knocked him out cold. And audio is clipping a bit. Sound cutting in and out. Interesting. I'm not sure why. It shouldn't be, unless it has something to do with the storm, or maybe it's the microphone. I don't know. Everything's pretty tight. I did just kind of unplug a lot and reset a lot of things, so hopefully it doesn't keep doing that. But it looks good on my end, so it could be an internet thing, because I am getting a notification. Stream has disconnected, attempting to reconnect. That was 2 minutes ago. So I think it might have something to do with the storm. So hopefully my internet doesn't go out. That would suck. But this is Ben Askren thanking the community. You know, he got staph and double lung pneumonia at the same time out of nowhere. The man died 4 times, right? And he, you know, I've always liked Ben Askren. I mean, he's a gamer, you know what I mean? Gamer in the sense that like he's just down for anything. He fought Jake Paul, got knocked out by Jake Paul. So his like combat sports career, once he got into like punching and kicking, hasn't gone that well. But as a wrestler, he was one of the top. And he now weighs like 147 pounds after surgery. He did have his double lung transplant. And from what I've been gathering, Jake Paul is the guy who stepped up and covered this man's $500,000 medical bill because his shit insurance company wouldn't touch it. And there really needs to be something done about the medical system in this fucking country. It is deplorable. It is disgusting on every level. You know, I am not a socialist by any stretch. I'm definitely not a communist on any level. Because the reality of a lot of that is that like ideally it might sound good. But you know, in practice, there's just too much corruption. And when human hands touch systems, if they find a loophole or they find a way to take advantage of that system to basically expand their own wealth, power, and control over others, they're going to. That's just all there is to it. So unfortunately, none of these ideals really work. And I do believe that we need to find some sort of happy medium between capitalism and socialism to some extent, because our medical system is repugnant. I mean, it doesn't really help anyone when you're paying out the nose in health insurance for just to be turned down because although the insurance company decides it's not good for their bottom line, but they reject you. How long has he been paying for his medical insurance? Was it supposed to be covered? I'm going to guess it probably was, but they find some stupid loophole to reject it because it costs too much. They're like, we don't want to pay that. But if we decide we don't want to pay it and then we do need something, you know, of course, we've got no coverage. We've got nothing. So we're basically paying into what effectively feels like a Ponzi scheme, and they get to decide who and when they want to cover whoever is paying for their service. There needs to be laws against that. The same way property taxes and all of these systems are structured as it relates to capitalism in America to really bleed out us as citizens, whether it's taxes, big pharma, all of these major corporate interests that are constantly funneling money into the government to lobby for laws and things that give them the benefit, to give them the House advantage and then some. And I think it's disgusting, and it really does need to change. And from what I gather, Jake Paul is the guy who stepped up and paid Ben Askren's $500,000 medical bill. And rightfully so. I mean, in a way, I don't know how much he made off of like knocking Ben Askren out in his fights, but I will say that if this gets confirmed and he did take care of this, I'm never going to bitch about Jake Paul again. Never. I'm never going to, because that to me is such a stand-up thing to do. And when you've got someone like Jake Paul who's always out there touting like he's trying to do this for these people and that for that people, maybe we don't necessarily like the approach all the time because he plays the heel so well. But you know, when you do stuff like this, like to me, I always say it's not what you say, it's what you do, right? I don't care what you say. You know, if I'm at a bar somewhere and somebody's yapping and they're like, oh, you think you're big, you think you're tough, I'll kick your ass and this and that. I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. You will. I'm fragile. I'm old. Don't hurt me. And I'll walk away. I don't really give a shit. But if somebody puts their hands on me, they're going to take a nap. And that's it. It's not about what you say, it's what you do. You can say whatever, it doesn't really mean anything. You're trying to look good for somebody, you're trying to put on a show over here, over there, whatever. But it's what you do. And when Jake Paul wants to play the heel for sports entertainment, but then he's putting his money where his mouth is in terms of what his intent is overall to like help this sport, to help these people, to help the fighters, he's actually done a lot. He really has done a lot to draw attention to and likely change a lot of what's going on in combat sports, especially as it relates to the UFC. And you know what? If he's rigging a bunch of fights, and it's not that they're rigged, I do believe that they're contracts. I feel like a lot of these fights are contractually bound to not mess Jake up. I do think that that's true. I've never seen any of them, and it's pure speculation. But even if that were the case, do you know how much a lot of these fighters who are retired from the sport and benefit from these big paydays that Jake Paul brings? Even if it's your one last hurrah, if you're making seven figures, man, and your last day in the sport before you retire for good, hey, man, if it's fun and it's entertaining, it keeps people asking questions, and it provides somebody like Jake Paul the means of doing stuff like this when it really freaking matters, I say more power to you. I'm done bitching. That's all I can say about that. I really hope, I really truly hope Ben Askren gets well and gets his life back on track. It's a really sad. I watched this video in absolute tears, and then I went and told my wife about it. I didn't even play the video for her, and she was in tears. It's such a sad story, because you think of his family and everything his family's been going through. But anyway, let's get back to something more positive. Atrium Labs, I have accepted an advisory role with Atrium with big pay. He sent me the nicest message, and he was like, yo, you know, you're the reason I got into Cardano. And he's like, I really would love for you to be an advisor for this project, and we'll give you some vested tokens. And I'm like, that's cool. It's whatever. I'm not worried about the tokens, but you know, I will be getting tokens at some point. And but I just think it's a really cool thing. And I was chatting with them with some other ideas, you know, and they seem pretty receptive to it. And so, you know, I think this is going to be actually a really cool platform for Cardano. So I'm looking forward to the coming launch here very, very soon. And of course, I'll let everybody know about that. And then let's see here. Okay, so that was all old. So I'm going to close that. Charles Hoskinson, I'd like to congratulate Sunday Swap on doing an amazing job writing the on-chain treasury contracts for Cardano's 2025 budget. I've noticed recently that Charles has just been, you know, welcome to midnight, Open Zeppelin. He just seems more cheerful, and he just seems happier, and I love it. I love to see it. You know, yeah. I don't know what else to say other than that. I really like to see Charles just happy, man, just doing what he does and being happy about it. It's really easy to get caught up in a lot of the bullshit and the negativity. And it's just like, when you're a guy that's accomplished as much as he has with Cardano, it's like, you know, I would tell him all the time, I'm like, dude, you are so out of reach of most human beings on every conceivable level. People want to troll you just so that you bend down within their grasp to yell at them. And that's okay with them, because then they feel addressed. They feel, you know, accomplished, because somebody like you, somebody like Charles they bent down to be within their, you know, reach to say something back, and people get off on that. And the more you do it, the more they feed on it. And so it's just like, you know, I'm glad to see him doing better. Cardano skyrockets 111% in volume in total bull takeover. Cardano's back in the spotlight as bulls push key metrics, including price and volume, higher. Yeah, this is good stuff. Cardano, the 10th ranked cryptocurrency, has experienced a significant surge in volume, increasing by over 100% as investors actively engage in transactions. I mean, Cardano is up over 10% just in the last day, just so you know. So people are like, Cardano's not pumping. It doesn't look like it, because 10% doesn't sound that much yet, but it's going to start picking up some steam. I think it's currently at 20 or 65 cents, and we're going to look at it here in a minute. As of press time, Cardano's price was trading at 62 cents, representing a 5% increase in one day. Well, now it's at 65 plus cents. So yeah, Cardano's growing, and it's starting to pick up steam. Cardano Foundation reports $659 million in assets, with 15% in Bitcoin. Cardano Foundation reveals 2024 financial allocations and asset breakdown, holding nearly $100 million in Bitcoin amid evolving treasury diversification efforts. I find this a little interesting. Cardano Foundation held $651 million in assets at the end of 2024. It's all worth a hell of a lot more already now. 76.7% of assets were in ADA, 14.9% in Bitcoin, and 8.3% in cash or equivalents. 22.1 million was allocated to ecosystem growth, with 7.1 million for internal operations. And on top of it all, man, the Cardano treasury is booming. I mean, it's like 1.8 billion already. Like it's just getting so much bigger. I'd like to see us start using some of that. Grayscale fund, that's Cardano holders urged to pay attention as institutions load up on ADA. I'm telling you guys, this is just getting started. Grayscale allocates 18.5% of smart contract fund to Cardano, ranking third overall. And this is, I'm sure, going to keep growing and keep getting bigger. That's a big thing with Laos. We're not going to touch that just yet. Covered that a bit. What's this? Oh yeah, this I thought was kind of interesting. Cardano Charts just did something they've never done before. Oh, I see. This is a little off here. Let's just move this a tad. There you go. Now you guys can see it better. Cardano has slipped about 1.54% in the past day. Now, this is an older article, 14 hours ago. So a lot's happened since then. Traders have spotted a rare weekly golden cross on the ADA USD chart. That happens when a shorter moving average crosses over above a larger one. It can signal that buyers are gaining the upper hand after months of sideways action. And it has been. ADA is trading at 60 cents under both its 50-day moving average at 66 cents, which we broke today. So, and its 200-day moving average at 64 cents. So let's go ahead and start taking a look at some of the charts here and see what's going on. So this is Bitcoin's market cap dominance. This I'm seeing this is around 60, almost 65% again, with this being 66% up here. This hasn't even really started falling yet. That's why nothing is pumping in a way that everybody's expecting. Like, oh my gosh, look at this. Cardano just doubled since yesterday. Like, that's all coming up most likely. It's just, but that hasn't started yet. Everything right now, I feel, is preparation. I feel like a lot of institutions, a lot of money is going in, but this is all in preparation for what's coming. Bitcoin currently trading at $113,411 after two major runs. And, you know, are we going to turn around? Are we going to start getting some sideways? Are we going to continue moving up? What's going to happen next? I don't know. These aren't even my trading charts. These are just my show you charts. But this I found pretty interesting. This is Cardano, and this is a back here on the 8th. Not flush. Oh my gosh. I'm totally like losing my mind here. The lights, all of this. Flux charts. Hold on. The Flux Charts XPF algo triggered a buy entry or a long entry here with these three take profit points, and they all, not only did they all hit, but they were all blown out of the water because of these all-time highs. So Cardano is currently trading at about 65 cents, but you'll notice up here right at about 66 cents, this is also the Flux algo basically saying to expect a reversal. And it doesn't, I can't scroll all the way, but these are points where there's a lot of selling. There's a lot of people basically like, we're going to have to chew through a lot of this area here before we move up even further. And I do think it's very likely everything is pointing to strong uptrends here, getting started. So we'll see what happens. I mean, obviously a lot of this is going to depend on what's going on over the rest of this month. Is Cardano going to break like 115 grand? Like, where are we at with that? We're going to find out soon, I'm sure. This is on a 30-minute candle here. And you can see we moved, like the price went sideways for the longest time, touched down here into this zone, and then just bounced and just took off. I mean, it's just been absolutely nuts this whole time. And this is Cardano on a 4-hour candle. We got a recent trigger here. This was yesterday, I believe. Yeah, this was yesterday. So we got a 4-hour trigger here. We hit this first take profit and we still have 2 more to go. This third one is at 72 cents. So if things continue moving in the direction they are, we could very well end up somewhere around the 72-cent range, maybe by this weekend. We'll see. But these flux chart triggers definitely seem to hit. Well, the recent ones are taking into account a lot of the momentum with Bitcoin, I think, as well. So it'll be very interesting. But of course, this is Cardano against Ethereum. You can see that this started really heavy, but you can see these candles really starting to tighten up, man. We're very likely going to start seeing Cardano rise up against Ethereum here very soon. I mean, this is what I'm seeing. And I've been looking at a lot of like volume profiles and candle profiles and things, because I'm getting started to really start trading in a serious way. I've been doing a lot of learning stuff. I actually just joined a prop firm, believe it or not, and I've been experimenting with that. It's pretty weird. Honestly, it's a weird experience. I feel like I'm kind of trading on a rotary phone. It's just like a really weird UI. But it's very interesting how they work, and I'll probably end up writing about a lot of it on Crow's Nest first, and just kind of like let everybody know what I'm doing. But yeah, they hooked me up with a big account, and they're like, yeah, here's a practice account for you to blow up and do whatever you want, and then here's a real account, and if you do well on this real account and you're following the rules and things, you'll actually get payouts from it. So I'm actually very interested. But I'm on top of that. BitUnix is hooking me up again, because I went back to BitUnix, honestly, not because of any deal. I just really like the exchange. And so I think that they recognize that, and they're like, okay, we're going to get you your trade bonus and things so that you can really start trading. And so that's a big deal. That's a really big deal, because I did go back to them because I just liked them. The guy that I was working with originally, I didn't care for that much. He was always away, always gone. So expect some contests and some fun things. When I'm really ready, you're gonna know, because I'm still finishing Annie's course with Trade Travel Chill. I'm in her Discord all day, every day now, and it's just it's a good group of people in there. But yeah, I can see us turning around here and start moving to the upside against Ethereum here in the not so distant future. So I'll be very excited to see that. And hey man, this is October, and I think that we're probably I think we're going to hit some sort of big major milestone peak October, November. And, I do believe we're going to hit somewhere in the $250,000 to $350,000 range at this peak. And we're still heading in that direction. I mean, we're still doing pretty well. So moving forward, yeah, I think that looks good. The one thing that I was also checking out today was dominance. I mean, Cardano's been sitting pretty chill at around the 62% dominance. And, Bitcoin's been sitting pretty chill. So like Bitcoin's dominance hasn't been dropping much. And so Cardano's not been gaining much, but the price is starting to change. I do think that we're starting to close in on a period where Bitcoin's dominance is going to start falling away. I do. And I'll be very interested to start keeping track of Cardano's dominance as it relates to Bitcoin's drop in dominance. I will be keeping track of that. So about 28 minutes in, and this is Crow's Nest. It's cryptocrow.io. I post all kinds of really cool exclusive content in here about anything you can imagine. This is basically my home away from YouTube. I can talk about whatever I want. This is on the Ghost platform, and nobody controls it but me. And so I can say what I want, do what I want, and I don't have to worry about getting shut down or canceled or demonetized or whatever. So yeah, make sure you sign up for that, because it's a big help for me, and I've got a lot of goals associated with it. And I'm actually putting some money in a lot of stuff that I'm going to be using to help with content on this as well. And it'll end up being used for some YouTube content at the same time, but I'm trying to get some stuff established that I think is going to make my life a lot easier. So yes. All right, let's take a look at chat. Big Pay is a really good dude, says Poman13. Yeah, I mean, he's always been cool. There's nothing that can convince me that Paul Tyson fight wasn't a contract. I mean, of course it was, man. One solid one solid real punch from Mike Tyson would literally put just about anybody on their ass. And I, when you've been, yeah, I mean, of course it was contractual. There's no way. A lot of these guys, and I watched a whole interview once with this guy used to be kind of mobbed up back in the day, and he was a fight fixer. That was his job. Like, his job was to go after, like he said, the easiest way to fix a fight is to go. He's like, you're not going to do it with guys that are coming up. He's like, guys that are just starting out, they're coming up, they're building their records and all that. He's like, you don't even bother with them. He said the guys that are, and this is why I feel like so much of this is structured for Jake to do what he's doing, because this fight fixer flat out said guys that were former champions, but they're still kind of like, you know, like their championship days are over, but they still want to make money. Those are the guys that you can get into stuff. Like, those are the guys that are willing to take a paycheck and not win a fight, because they've already proven themselves. They've already done what they're going to do, and now they're just doing it for money. And I just think that that's basically what Jake Paul's built a career off of. And you know, at this point, I'm not even going to hate him for it. It is what it is. And you know, at this point, if you don't know, then if you don't know that it's really more about just the entertainment and seeing this, you know, YouTuber getting in there and mixing it up a little bit with, like, you know, big names of different fields, different sports and things. And there's always this what if factor, but to me, there really isn't much of a what if factor. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to scroll up. You voted for this outcome, don't bitch. I'm not even sure what you're talking about. Thank God I'm in the UK. I don't know, I see a lot of crazy stuff going on in the UK, man. I don't know what to make of it anymore. I heard Paris isn't doing so well. I heard a lot of major places are not doing very well. So it's a little concerning. Tyson pulled back from hitting him. It was so fixed, but I think it was going to be a real fight. Tyson needed that 20 million. Yeah, like, man, you know, I'd let anybody whip my ass for 20 million bucks. I mean, let's be real about it. Sit tight, man. Don't panic and freak out. Just make sure you take profits on the way up and don't round trip back to the bear market. Yeah, that's true. And I've had some people recently ask me about like an exit strategy, and I'm probably going to be putting one together. Can I connect AI with Flux Algo? I don't think so. I don't think there's any way to connect AI. I mean, there could be, yeah, actually, I think you could, because what you could do is you can set alerts in TradingView so that if Flux Algo triggers something, you can set up a bot to trade those alerts. I've actually done it in the past. But you know, I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to look at it and see how Flux Algo prints their triggers and prints their alerts and things. But I do think that there might be a way to do that. Because when TradingView sends an alert, you can send it to anything you want. So, you know, you can send that through, I forget what the scripting language is, and it's not PineScript. It's something else, but like you can have it send TradingView alerts to like Telegram or Slack or anything. And then if you're trying to use like an AI automation of some sort to take those triggers and then act on them, like if you're using like Jesse or some of these more quant bots and things, like there are ways to do it, but I couldn't explain to you how just yet. I'd let you beat me up for 1,000 ADA. I would be surprised if they don't have an exposed API that an AI agent could pick up and use. Are you talking about Flux? I can ask, I can find out. The best, and I know this sounds like a sales pitch, but the best place to ask me questions so that I don't forget and then I can refer to and respond to is on my cryptocrow.io. I'm literally when somebody posts a comment there, I get an email, I immediately go to it, and if it's something that I can do something about in that moment, I do. But I at the very least try to respond to everything, and that's the easiest way to like communicate with me. To like, if there's something that you want to see, if there's an article you'd love, or there's a problem you'd like me to help you solve, like that's the easiest way to do it. Like I tell everybody, don't tip me on YouTube anymore. Don't do any of that. Just if you want to support me and everything that I'm working on and everything that I'm doing, just join cryptocrow.io. That's the best way to do it, because it means a lot. It helps me a lot, and nobody takes a cut of it. Because it's my own platform, and I've had my Substack, I've had different things over the years that I just never really took to, because I felt like it wasn't really in my control, and I just never liked the systems. This is 100% in my control, so it definitely changes everything. What is the best option on there to choose? The best option on where? Are you talking about on my site? There are different tiers. Like if you like, let's say, I mean, I think I have them here. Let me see. Yeah. So they're different tiers. So let's just say you just want like crypto, like macro news. You're just like, I just want to know what's going on. Like, what are your thoughts about the general market? You've got AI automations and tools. I'm just kind of getting started into supplying stuff with that. I posted a couple pretty interesting things, how to make a trading bot, different stuff. My crypto trading journal, which is basically where I share insights into my trades, what I'm doing, what I'm not doing, all of that. My goal is to basically turn like $3,000 into $20,000 a month, and that's what I'm learning. And so I'm doing courses, I'm reading different books, and right now it's light. Like somebody said, like I'd love to see more content about this, like more in-depth stuff. They're basically wanting me to teach them how to trade. And I'm like, I'm not there yet. I'm still learning myself, but it's coming, because I have, if you saw my workspace, it's why I don't even work out of this room anymore. My workspace is so different, and I'm surrounded by books, and I'm surrounded by so many different things, and I'm in the middle of a course, and I'm doing so many things with the course. Like I'm going to take this course, and I'm not going to distribute it to anybody, because I'm not going to screw Annie that way, but I'm taking all of the course videos. I'm going to put them all into one video. I'm taking the audio file. I'm creating an audio file to send to my phone so that I can listen to it morning, noon, and night over and over and over. And then I'm going to transcribe the whole thing, throw it into AI, and have it give me all of the instructional cliff notes. Like if you see this, do that. There's a lot. Like there's a lot of stuff I'm working on, and that's just one thing. So anyway, politics and life. This is kind of a tier where, if I might post an article about like marriage or what I think of the world or whatever. But it's also like if I've been married 15 years, I love my wife more than anything. Like we have the best relationship, and it's taken a long time to like build that and to establish that. And it's definitely something the majority of married couples do not have, like 1,000%, because I think that to get to where we are takes a lot of compromise, self-sacrifice, and communication. And over time, you just end up like more cohesive. And I think that that's where we are. And I would absolutely do anything for my wife. I know she would do literally anything for me. And we depend on each other for a lot. And that's kind of the way I think it should be. But it takes a lot to get there. And we've been through a lot of ups and downs over the years. So, the politics and life tier is about, like if you have, like maybe you have a situation, you'd love some advice, hey, this has happened, or this just happened. Like, what do you think? Well, how should I handle that? Like, I don't know, whatever. I'll give it to you straight, like I always do. And that's that. And then there's Crow's Nest Complete, which is basically, it's only $15 a month, and you get access to literally everything. And let me see. I don't see okay. And then this is mortgage loan officer training. This is $20 a month by itself, which I guess doesn't matter, because if you're in Crow's Nest Complete, you're going to get it anyway. But this is for people like if you are a mortgage loan officer and you're trying to learn how to like build your business, you're going to learn how to be a top loan officer with the weekly articles that I'm publishing here. Flat out, hands down. I took an old course that I did that was getting me calls from branch managers and things. And I've basically taken all of that. I've transcribed it. I've had AI rewrite it for me. And so you're not reading a transcription of me talking in videos. And I've basically scheduled all of those out. I don't know how many months out they go, but there's a new big article every month or every week, I think. And I'm going to be adding to that. And this is for like people that, you know, if they get an article and they have questions about it, they can ask me and I'll respond. And it's basically like a virtual coaching kind of thing. So that's it in a nutshell. But yeah, I mean, this is a big deal for me. Obviously, it's not a big cash grab because everything's cheap. I know a lot of people that do this kind of thing and they're charging like $50 to $100 a month, and they get it too, but it's not, I would rather have more people benefiting from it and being a part of the community than like try to gouge the shit out of a handful of people and not really caring. What you think A to B on 2 months? Top of the world. Top of the world. I've done so many Cardano price prediction videos over the years, and quite frankly, they don't really mean shit. What it boils down to is how much money flows into, like, if we get interest rate cuts, and we get some quantitative easing that we're used to seeing, not kind of like the bonds and like the like sleight of hand stuff I feel like they're doing with that, so they don't have to actually announce it and actually help Trump on any level. I feel like they're doing so many squirrely things to try and avoid basically saying Trump did a great job. I mean, it's just so stupid. But if Jerome Powell does resign or he does get replaced or whatever, and Bessent ends up in his seat and then starts cutting interest rates and doing everything that, Trump's been aiming for, then we're probably going to get some really crazy momentum in the market cycle here. And I think a lot of that, Poe, man, you've been married 27 years. Oh, 27 years with my wife, 22 married. So it took you 5 years to get married. What a slacker, dude. What a slacker. My wife and I dated a year. We were engaged a year, and then we got married. So there, no, you got me beat by a mile. I didn't even realize you were old enough to be married that damn long. I think you might have said something in the past. Are you, I can't remember. Are you in your 50s? I can't remember, but 27 years, man, congratulations. That's a long time. It doesn't really feel like 15 years, honestly. Met her when I was 20. Wow. See, I was 32 when my wife and I met. 32 years old. I was still real rough around the edges. Still had my faux hawk. If you look at old fight videos and things of me, I had like a faux hawk. And now I just have no haircut. I'm just shaggy as hell. I really need to go get cleaned up. Dated for 4 months, engaged for another 5 months, now married 24 years. Scott Watson, that's awesome, man. I love to hear it because you don't hear that kind of stuff nowadays. Everybody's so toxic and everything's all about instant gratification. Nobody gives a shit. Crow, how's the node doing? The Crow node's doing awesome. I've got the Cardano node. I've got the Apex Crow node. I've got interviews coming up on like the 15th. So in 5 days, I've got an interview. I can't remember who's first, but I've got an interview coming with Big Pay about the launch of Atrium. Then I have an interview coming up with Jerry, the CEO of Apex Fusion, because they're about to drop some bombs on everybody. And there's just a lot of cool shit going on. I mean, things are definitely starting to pick up steam and get more interesting. And I am going to start doing content related to Cardano native assets. And that's a part of what I'm working on right now. I'm working on some things to help me. I have a 20-page thing that I've been working on. Basically, it's 20 pages long with 10 categories to help me. I'm trying to set up an AI automation that will help me research all of the different metrics associated with a cryptocurrency asset. And then basically apply scoring to them. And then I'm going to basically use them. I'm going to use these reports to start covering the native assets, comparing one to another, comparing them to other assets outside of Cardano. And I'm going to basically be I'm going to be sharing the reports on Crow's Nest so people can download them and reference them all they want. And there's a lot of stuff that I'm working on because I think now's the time to really start diving into that and getting people prepared for what may very well be starting off here. So yeah, congratulations to all you guys, man. Like, I really do love to see that. I feel bad. I feel bad for my daughter. I feel bad for my sons, and like I feel bad for my older daughters because everybody's just so corrupt and toxic. I shouldn't say corrupt, but they're all toxic as hell. And it's like this generation, all they know is their phone. You know, they don't even know how to make connections anymore. They don't know how really, I feel like in a lot of ways to like build real friendships that mean anything. Everything's just like a FaceTime chat, and like everybody's being so programmed to basically live in some form of isolation. And it's pretty sad, honestly. Will be 24 years myself come October, and I got 3 teenage kids. Wow, congrats, Oren. That's awesome. Yeah, it is. It's absolutely brutal now. It's a damn shame, man. And my hope, though, I mean, we have all of this, like all of the between the media and all of the efforts of these a particular group of people that are just constantly trying to destroy the nuclear family. It's like everybody is weaker when they're by themselves. Like everybody is more susceptible. Everybody is. It's like when you have a strong nuclear family, you've got the mom, the husband, the dad, the wife, or the kids, the dog, you know what I mean? You've got that strong family unit. It's a lot more difficult to push people into bad places. And I really do believe that, and man, I've seen interviews from as far back as 20, 30 years ago, specifically talking about the effort to destroy the nuclear family for that reason. And you can see it. You can see the result of it today. And it's just sad because so many people only see like what's right in front of their eyes, like right here, and they react to that so strongly and so boldly without ever actually thinking anything through. And most people today truly are just lemmings. They're puppets for the media. They're puppets for the politicians and the big corporate interests that just basically want to control everything they do and think and say. And you know, like I always talk about it, but if you have not if you've not read the book 1984, you really have to. Like there's a really, if you don't like reading for whatever reason, there's an Audible only version of it that is basically like an acted out play, where it's all audio, obviously, but rather than like, you know, where they're describing like every little thing that's done, you hear them doing it. In their reactions, and it's absolutely cool, and it's creepy. It's actually very creepy because when you're listening to it today, you realize that this is really what's forming, like what's happening on so many levels in so many places right now. It's very, very creepy, but it's double plus good. All right, guys. Hey, make sure you guys check out the links in my description. I really appreciate it. Check out Flux Charts, man. I don't think you'll be disappointed. It's a really good indicator. I'm not just saying that because they're a sponsor. I'm really digging them, man, and I've been working them into my flow and like my setups and things. And I refer to it pretty much constantly. Even though I'm trading with a different system, the Flux Charts really kind of help me gauge like where I should set stop losses and potential take profits. And then I reference the take profits with the overall system, and does that line up? And often it does, which is surprising because they're completely different things. So yeah, nothing wrong with being aware. UK is ground zero for 1984 experiment. 100%. I'm glad somebody said it. I didn't want to. UK is absolutely nutso, man. I mean, but you can pull that kind of stuff when nobody's armed. You can't really do that quite so easily here in the States. You got half the people sold. Half the people just bark like little dogs all the time. They don't really know what they're even talking about. It really changes like with the headlines. Like that's it. It's crazy. And it's crazy how arrogant so many of these people are in their sentiment because they think they've got it all figured out and they're so self-righteous and right, but they really never have a clue. And it's just like, I know what any liberal is yelling about today just by checking the news. It's like that. Like yeah, it is what it is, man. I feel bad, honestly. I feel bad in some ways because they're always so angry. Like they're always so angry. It's somebody else, and like I've never seen less accountability in a group of people in my life. And it's just like, you know, maybe if you guys weren't so insane about everything all the time, there would be room for conversation. But because there isn't any, I feel like they just isolate themselves on their own island of self-destruction. And you know, I don't know, is what it is. Giant echo chamber, 1000%. And it really is disturbing. It's disturbing to see. Has anybody ever went to Blue Sky? Like there, it's like the left wing version of Twitter. It's eye opening. It's scary in a lot of ways, because the crazy shit you see on there that people like really believe. Like a lot of people like to call right wingers conspiracy theorists and stuff. But if you flip that on its head, you've got Blue Sky. And it's like, it's nutso, man. I went and I checked it out for a day once, and I was floored at like how people are there. It's like everybody's trying to suck up attention to say the craziest shit and like gather or like rally. It's nuts. But anyway, I it's not why we're here. 50 minutes in. Hey, thanks for joining me, guys. I really appreciate it. Make sure you check out and support my sponsors. I really do appreciate that. And I will be back soon, hopefully, probably with another all-time high. Are we going to have another all-time high tomorrow? Or are we going to break 114,000 through the night, maybe 115,000 tomorrow? Let's maybe get some live auctioneers. You're going to auction off the price. Can I hear 155, 115, 112, do I have 116? Sold $180,000 by Sunday evening. Until next time, crow your coins. I'll see you soon. Or I'll see you on Crow's Nest or CryptoCrow.io. Maybe. I don't